So I was inspired by this guy on Instagram who makes content like it's called Faithless Christianity. It's like day one of pretending God is real for 30 days to see if it helps me, and it's using this book, Jesus Calling. So I'm gonna start using this book every day because I've been trying to get more in touch with God and really feel His presence. Because I've had periods in my life where I really do, and it's like amazing and everything works out really well for me, and then I have periods where I don't, and it seems to be this alignment that emerges. It doesn't emerge, it's like I find it, but like once you find it you can't ever let it go because you never know if you're going to find it again. So I'm trying to recreate or refine that. Got a bunch of stuff to do today, got a lot of thoughts about a lot of different things. So I guess I'll just make this into a long form video rather than a short form video because it makes more sense. So I saw a video today or yesterday of some people in Britain, and basically they were saying like what we've been doing, all the protests and marches and stuff, it's not enough. We got to do more. And I'm like, I totally agree. And they're like, so come sign up. Tell me your name, date of birth, and where you live. And I'm just thinking, are people really that stupid? Like, you can't organize that way. You have to organize platoon by platoon. Like you and your mates, and then you and your mates find other people they trust, and then you build it all the way up to the top. You don't start with top down because that's super easy to corrupt, and that's sort of the problem, is that we're trusting in top down systems. So that's why I'm doing the work right here by I'm drinking collagen and stuff, and I'm gonna make this is like a daily occurrence where I just make a daily video in the morning and one in the evening about just what I'm doing, because I'm doing a lot to save the world in a very real sense. Like I'm not just some guy on the internet politically commentating. I'm actually doing a tremendous amount. I'm doing a lot more in my life that I don't talk about to help the world than I am doing on the internet to help the world. And I do a lot on the internet to help the world, so I think that's significant. And I'm going to start talking more and more about that as it becomes more and more relevant, because it's sort of like if you want to make an idea manifest in the world, you got to start with principles. But principles are eternal. They're not grounded in time. That's why they work all the time. So you start with principles. You look at like my first video is just autobiographical, and then I quickly go into principles. Like I'm talking about how things work and why things work in science and stuff. And then you see the evolution of my channel. Right now I'm moving from talking about principles to talking about current events, because I've based so much of what I'm doing on principles that the principles have become current events through what I'm doing. So if I want to make the principles and what I'm doing intelligible to people, I have to do it through the lens of current events, because I have myself grounded the principles that I'm operating from in time by making them pertain to current events. So now I'm going to explain to everyone how they pertain to current events. This explains a lot of my recent videos on Candace Owens and stuff. This also explains my Taking Over the World series. That is going to, I'm going to use that now that that has enough momentum. I'm going to use that to teach people how marketing works. And by using that to teach people how marketing works, I'm going to change the way people are marketing on the internet. And the result of that is going to be, you got this magnesium lotion. You got it streaking on my body, but this magnesium lotion, I guess it's absorbed, but it's starting to itch. But the magnesium feels good. Now that's a thing I'm going to do. I'm going to make beef tallow based magnesium lotion, because better ingredients. I'll experiment with that. I don't know if I'm going to make it available yet. Like I have hair gel. That's the best hair gel in the world. The hair gel I use, I make myself. It's the best hair gel in the world. It's made from almost entirely organic ingredients. And It's not commercially available right now because I just haven't made it commercially available. And there's a lot of things that are in that category because I'm a very creative person, so I just allow myself to be I've learned how to allow myself to be creative and turn that into things. So now I'm going to talk about how that's pertaining to all of this and help me organize my thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of threads that tie together. Like, for instance, during the American Revolution, which I'd say is the period most similar to our period now, because the Republican Revolution happened in many stages. Like, Rome was a republic and fell into despotism. Rome then like, Christianity emerges out of Rome historically. And then Christianity leads to people moving to the New World, the American Revolution. That inspires the French Revolution across the pond. And this is really something I'm going to talk a lot about. And I'm going to repeat myself a lot, but it's necessary because this is like the most critical thing that's happening right now that no one understands. But this is what's making the world the way it is the fact that the West, so you have three powers in this world. You have the power of the individual, you have the power of the disintegrated individual, the individual who does not know his own history, the yet to self-determine individual. That's Africa. That's why it's run by warlords with child soldiers. I don't really need, and the rape rate is like the 60% of people on the African continent have been raped, and that's a low estimate. So that's why Africa is Africa. And then everyone who decides that Africa is terrible leaves Africa, but you have to leave with your family because, I mean, if you just leave by yourself, there's going to be no one because you can't reproduce by yourself. So everyone who's outside of Africa left with their families because otherwise there wouldn't be people outside of Africa. So then you have the family ethic, like the really intense don't sell your own family members into slavery ethic. Like how they're still selling their own family members into slavery in Africa. The ethic that defeats that, the don't sell your own family members into slavery ethic, is embodied by the Orient, by the East. It's like, okay, family first. Kind of look at like the East, and it's like, yeah, I mean, family first really does kind of describe the East. And then you say, what's the West then? The West is sort of like the self-realized individual who integrates his family structure. And he emerged a little bit during the Mycenaean period with Odysseus. And then the Bronze Age collapse happened, and you don't see this character emerging again until the Roman Republic period. But at that point, he's cut off from his Dionysian instincts because of the effects of culture. And Terence McKenna gets into this in great detail. So then it takes until the birth of Christ for people to then readopt that, or for Christ's crucifixion, people to readopt that, and that spreads like wildfire so aggressively that everyone has to pretend that they're actually Christians, and then the pretending reaches a climax with like the Spanish Inquisition, because we're literally torturing people to death in the name of Jesus Christ, who was tortured to death unfairly. Like, we're torturing people to death in the name of a guy who was unfairly tortured to death, who everyone thought was fairly tortured to death because of the beliefs at the time. So it's just this, like, I mean, regardless of, like, the effect, like, it's not good. Like, you can't torture people to death in the name of Jesus Christ. Like, oh, well, they were just torturing the Jews because the Jews were... Jesus was a fucking Jew, man. Like, it's just not... Like, you can't be like, we're Christians. We oppose the torture of Jews because they won't renounce their stupid beliefs. So now we're going to torture a bunch of Jews to death until they renounce their stupid beliefs and acknowledge the Messiah. Like even if you're right, you make yourself wrong by doing that. So then the collective unconscious realizes how fucked Europe is. And you just see this mass migration of people to the New World. So all the people who are capable of recognizing, like the true people who would embody the Western mentality, who are capable of recognizing how fucked up what's going on in Europe is, leave Europe and eventually have a revolution to break away from Europe. That's so successful that the Europeans have their own revolution, and then the Europeans pretend to be Republicans. They pretend to believe in representative democracies, representative forms of government. And essentially, we've just been pretending to believe in that all the way through like the 20th century, fiat currency, which is an Eastern practice. So really our adoption of fiat currency in 1973 was our confession of our own loss of faith in the Western ideal. So right now, the West is in the same predicament it was right before the American Revolution, where it's kind of, it looks like the West, but it's not actually the West because the ideal that founded the West is not ruling. So we're going to have a second revolution that I think is going to be ideological and industrial, not bloody, hopefully, though Charlie Kirk was already shot, so I guess it's already bloody. And during the American Revolution, the most popular book in the Bible was the Book of Deuteronomy, and the most popular beverage of choice was tea, gunpowder green tea being very popular. And I believe that that's incredibly relevant because gunpowder green tea is the only reason I can think this way, because it's unlocked my brain, which was fucked because of like a lifetime of health problems. And since I started consuming gunpowder green tea by the gallon, my brain is just woo. And I'm reading the Book of Deuteronomy, and I see exactly how Deuteronomy connects the seeds of Christianity with the fruit of freedom in the sense that only the Book of Deuteronomy could. So I'm going to be doing live streams where I read the Book of Deuteronomy while drinking green tea and eating meat, because a lot of people came to the United States to hunt their own deer because you couldn't eat meat because all the deer were owned by the king. And now they're pushing don't eat meat again. Like everything old is new again. So in order to explain all of this, I'm just going to be doing these daily videos because there's just too much going on and I'm doing too much to like make it make sense. So this is how I make it make sense.